Welcome to another season of Inside Jefferson Football. My name is Josh Powers. It's your weekly look at everything that has to do with the Jaguar football program. We are so excited to be back for year number 6. Coming up on this episode of Inside Jefferson Football, we'll talk with the head coach, Tim Carlson. We'll have our player segment with Hunter Burgess and also Pierce Opong, and we'll catch up with the son of the very first Jefferson head coach, Tony Waldner. But first, the head coach, Tim Carlson. It's year 6 for us, but your football team's been around a lot longer than that. Can you believe it's year 6 for us, but year 50 for Jefferson football? How about that milestone?
You know, it's incredible that we're starting season 50. And as we get going, I don't want to go too far without congratulating you and Tom and Paul, especially Paul and the rest of the BEC crew for the award they won, the Midwestern Student Production, and they do a great job with this, and we're super excited that we're going to be starting season number 6 here. But yeah, 50 years, and this is my 30th in coaching, 28 at Jefferson, so it's, I'm getting old.
And you started when you were 2 years old.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. But we're excited. We have some things going on this year, and it'll be a great Jefferson High School.
So you've had a chance to decompress from last year. So what are some of the takeaways that you took from last year's team that maybe you want to apply to this year's version of the Jaguars?
Yeah, you know, we did a lot of things. We were really happy with a lot of things we did last year. And I think back to the last Chaska game when we're tied in the second half. And Chaska had a very good team last year, and they go on to the state go into the state tournament. Mm-hmm. They're going to have a lot of those guys back, so we know Chaska is going to be very good again. But, you know, the thing that we take back is we really had a balanced attack, I thought, last year, more balanced than we have been. I think that's where we're leading again this year. We feel good with our running backs, with Roosevelt Cage, Seth Krakow, Ethan Rowland. Many of the receivers are back, Manny Montgomery, Hunter Burgess, who you'll meet later, Matt Thompson, Pierce Opong, tight end. So we have a lot of those guys coming back. To keep that balanced and experience. We're going to have a new quarterback this year, and so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, and then defensively, I like how we're playing so far. We're playing really fast and physical, and you know, we're not going to be big. That's just the way we are. But kind of build on last year, the end of last year in that Chaska game where we played a good team, but we played with a lot of heart and we went and fought.
So what has the summer been like for you guys? I saw some social media things. You're doing some egg tosses and some fun games. Yeah. But maybe speak a little bit about the fun you're having, but also some of the work you guys are putting in for the season.
Yeah, the state high school league is a little bit different now. We get 11 practice days. So we practice with the kids. We also are able to be parts of. We did do that in Edina, face some really good teams on Tuesday nights in Edina. We played in one passing tournament at Bethel University. They also have a dodgeball tournament, and we're 2-year defending champs of dodgeball, so we have that going for us. And then we went down to Gustavus for another tournament later in the summer. So it's been busy. The kids, we've spent a Saturday afternoon out at the Veterans Home playing bingo with the veterans, and we've done that a few times now in the off season. Then the kids are just working hard in the weight room and so on, and now we're ready to go.
We were talking off air, and you were saying a lot of the kids are, even though they might win some of those contests to get out of doing some conditioning drills, they still want to get in on those drills just for the sake of getting those reps in. Is that the kind of attitude that you want your team to have as we head toward the year? Yeah,
absolutely. We do it 2-a-days, and you know, once we start, we always at the end of the practice we have an egg toss. Well, whatever class wins the egg toss, they get the option of sitting out some of the running, and the egg toss, wiffle ball, home run contest, soccer goal kick, a tire flip, the big guy punt catch. So we have all these things set up for end of practices, which is a lot of fun. But every class that won kept running. They did not opt out, and that's kind of the attitude that we want. And coaches said nothing, and just let the kids kind of dictate that, and that was good to see.
Let's touch base a little bit on the offense. You mentioned the quarterback. Yeah. Who are some of the guys vying for that starting spot and going to be in that quarterback depth chart?
Yeah, right now we looked at starting the summer. We was going to be a senior, was also hurt, banged up a little bit last year, but Mitchell this summer, baseball, so he's in a boot, and he just got the kind of, so right now we're going to go with Carter, who's had a great summer passing league stuff, and he's a hard worker. He's a good athlete. He's smart. He's ready to lead our team.
What about offensive line coach? We kind of briefly talked about wide receiver, also very deep at running back, but as you'd be solid as well.
Yeah, we're returning Sawyer Vasquez, who's a captain. And then our one guard, Jack Stone, is back. Kind of in and out last year, so he has experience, even though he's just our new Lucas Kitzman and Joe Smith. So we're excited for them. Depth, and you're absolutely right. And once we have to start moving the pieces around, that's when though. Again, everybody asks me, how's your team going to be in the summer? And in the summer, so hopefully everybody stays healthy and we're ready to roll.
Our final segment about the defense and about your upcoming opponent, the champ number 1, just 2 days away.
Oh, sounds good.
All right, coming up next, Inside Jefferson Football, episode 1 of season 6 continues.
I am so proud that I serve my country. I can't imagine not having Wounded Warrior Project in my life. We need Wounded Warrior Project to help us in our ongoing recovery. My family learned that they weren't in this by themselves. Wounded Warrior Project definitely saves lives. I am living proof that this organization works.
Maintain your balance. Back on Inside Jefferson Football, the Jaguars open the season 48 hours from now. They will play at home to take on the Chanhassen Storm at Bloomington Stadium. I was excited to meet our players for our first player segment. We're going to hold off on that. We've got a piece of Jefferson history joining me right now, the son of the first ever Jaguar head coach, Tony Waldner, and your dad started the Jaguar football program, their first ever head coach way back in 1970. But Tony, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you, Josh. It's good to be here.
You are part of Jaguar football history, and there's so many stories that we were talking about off air that I want to get to. But first, talk about how your dad made his way eventually to become the first ever Jaguar head coach.
Dad started out at Kennedy High School as coach, and there he met Stan Shea and Dick Bird. And when the news broke out that Jefferson was opening, he made plans to get in as quick as he could for that head coach position because he loved being a head coach, and he was a head coach at Waconia High School, and so he wanted that back.
And he applied for it and obviously got the job. So he had a little bit of transition time between when he applied and when Jefferson opened, but he knew he was the head coach.
Yep, that's true. He enjoyed working for Sonny Carlson at Kennedy, but he was always working his way towards that head coach position.
And he started with the Jaguars. How long was your dad the head coach? Bruno, by the way, is your dad's name. How long was Bruno the head coach for the Jaguars?
He started in the fall of 70, and he finished in the 1986 season, so the 86-87 school year. He retired after 87.
And you had the unique opportunity to play high school football for your dad, Bruno. So just talk about that experience for you.
Yes, it was quite the experience. I was on the 1977 team. I was a quick side guard, or pulling guard as they'd call it, and a nose guard. It was very enjoyable playing for my father. We had a good time together, and practice. If I screwed up, he would let me have it, and if I did good, he always told me I did well.
Well, that kind of goes to my next question. So what kind of coach do you think your dad was? Or maybe if you ask some of his former players, what kind of a coach do you think they would categorize him as?
He was a tough but a fair coach. I played football at Normandale after I graduated, and I couldn't believe how easy Fred Moyer's practices were. My dad, but you ate, slept, and drank football in the Waldner household. He took it seriously, but he also had fun with it.
So your dad was a football coach, but also in the early days of Jefferson, he kind of had to be a little bit of a jack of all trades. And you had a unique story about the little Jefferson patch, their logo. Your dad was a big part of that. Talk about that.
My dad always excelled in art. He enjoyed painting pictures, and when he was in college, and he spent hours, I remember I was 10 years old, in his office watching him design that logo on sheets of paper, and there'd be a pile of sheets on the floor in the garbage can, but he finally came up with the TJ logo, and he was happy with it, I could tell. And he said, that's going on the helmets.
Well, not only did he design that logo, but talk about some of the other pieces of Jefferson history. Maybe you can see in the background of our main screen here. Talk about what he did to get the Jaguar colors decided.
That was entirely my mother's decision, Margie. She was kind of a coach in the background. She always was calling plays up in the stands, and would second guess my dad if she didn't think he called the right play. But she always liked the Dallas Cowboys colors, and she insisted on those colors being Jefferson's. And he said, "That sounds like a good idea to me, Margie."
Behind every good football coach is a strong, usually a strong female presence. Just talk about that relationship between your two parents.
Oh, she was the best. She never missed a game, rain or shine. And like I say, she would tell my dad after a game, if you should have called this play or you shouldn't have punted on that fourth down, you could have made it, So but she was always had his back. She loved football also.
What do you think about our current head coach, Tim Carlson? What do you think his differences are versus maybe your dad back in the day?
Coach Carlson's doing an outstanding job. He's got a lot of fun activities for the players that I'm sure he'll talk about pretty soon that we really didn't do. My dad was always quite proud of Tim, and they had a good relationship. They were pretty close.
All right, we're going to play an interview back with your dad. I believe this is from the mid-1980s, if I'm not correct. Why don't we go ahead and roll that interview? Okay. Your dad being interviewed on the sidelines as the head coach of the Jaguars.
Here with the winning coach tonight, Bruno Waldner, and this would certainly be a common practice as the Jaguars continue their undefeated race within the South Lake Conference. But, Coach, I've got to believe that you're happy to put Cooper behind you tonight.
Oh, very much so. They're a dangerous football team, and they played inspired football, and we just did not. And they came and took advantage of that, and they kicked us. There's no question about it. We were lucky to win. I feel strongly about that.
I noticed down in the field a couple times that you appeared to show some disappointment with some of the execution. And
just come back really quick.
What does
we'll
a coach do
to 20
try and iron those things out at this point in the season?
Well, we told them we just made our basic adjustments. We don't do a lot of screaming and yelling. We just said, hey, you've got to do things properly the way you've been taught to do them, and if you can't do it,
they
you're
beat
in trouble.
Cooper. This was
exactly
1983, fall of 83 season. And
you got to tell me honestly.
It was pretty quiet at our household. Usually at parties after the game, the coaches come up, they didn't talk.
Razzle-dazzle,
something. We have run that 8 times in the last 6 years, and we have scored 7 times.
Well, let's turn.
It's only good for about twice a year, but it's also good to let the other team see it. Then when you go for a real field goal like we did later on, it really mellows them out.
Next Wednesday night, you've got a big one.
Yes, we do. That's the biggest game of the year, and they're a tough opponent.
The fact that it would appear from just a size perspective, you've got a much bigger team than Park does. Is that going to have any bearing, you feel, on the game?
Oh, I don't think so. They're a very quick football team, a very #1 defensive team in the league, and they really swarm you, and they are so quick that the size really doesn't mean a lot in this ball game.
Does anybody come off the field? Everybody appear to be healthy?
Oh, I think we're pretty healthy. Physically, we're healthy. Mentally, I don't know.
All right, we're going to try and put the mental and the physical together next week and come out with a victory, and we're going to urge all the Jaguar fans to drive on out to St. Louis Park and fill those stands on the other side of the field.
Good, we need them, I guarantee you.
Thanks again, Coach. We're going to take it back up to the booth and back up to Scott Hansen.
All right, how about that? So great job by your dad. I love his brutal honesty. Tony Waldner, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you,
Piece
Josh.
of Jaguar history. Great Jaguar family. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back. Another segment of Inside Jefferson Football featuring the players this time when we come back. Back on Inside Jefferson Football, the Jaguars and Chanhassen Storm kick off the season on Thursday night. You can watch it live on BEC-TV. The players segment now, first one of the year. Hunter Burgess, Pierce Opong. Thanks a lot, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, you guys. Pierce, we'll start with you. It looks like you've enjoyed the strength and conditioning program at Jefferson High School. You're looking like you've gained some nice muscle over the offseason. Talk about your time in the weight room.
Oh yeah, it's been good. I don't know. I've just kind of told myself I want to get bigger and stuff, and I've been having other players and stuff like that to come with me, and I just work in the weight room, and then I know that that'll help me on the field, and if I spend more time in the weight room, it'll help influence other players as well to come join me too.
Wide receiver is maybe one of the deepest position on the team with yourself and of course Manny and Matt and others. How do you guys think what kind of strengths can you bring to the table and help this Jaguar team this fall?
I mean, my blocking is probably one of the best on the team for receivers, and coming against Chan, they have some really good corners that like to fly up on our bubbles, so that's going to be a key thing in the game, and just catching and knowing all the routes. That's a big one too, is some of the receivers don't know all the routes, and that's an issue if you want to play.
How was your time in that? Were you part of that passing league that you guys took part in the summer?
Yeah.
What did you learn from that, and how did that competition go for you guys?
It was fun, actually. It was a lot of fun. Like the Gus Davis, when we went down there and played a bunch of teams, we saw St. Louis Park down there, and so
they're
we saw
new
what
to your
they
conference
did.
this year.
So they're new. And we played a couple other teams, and it was really just a good thing to get the team together and get that chemistry going early on in the summer.
Pierce, I'm hearing you might get your hands on the football a few times this fall. Talk about your role on the defensive side of the ball, and then what you might be doing offensively, because it sounds like you're going to be playing both ways for us this year.
Well, yeah, so on defense, I play defensive end, and that's just staying on the line, stopping the run, trying to sack the QB. And then what new this year, what I'm going to be playing more is tight end. And so hopefully, we've been repping it at passing league and two-a-days in practice and stuff like that, where we have a flood play, and I'll be getting the ball, my hands on the ball, and hopefully getting some yardage for the team, which is new for me.
Have you been kind of Osmondson side? Have you been running the same guy last year? Or did they designing some new packages for you?
It's a little bit of the same stuff that Caden used to run, but we do have some new plays that we're gonna put out on the field for them to see.
Hunter, you're also a two-way guy. Talk about what you do on the defensive side of the football field.
I'm an outside linebacker, so I'm pass and run, but I'm focusing on the run and watching the guys that are the tackles and seeing what they're doing before I drop back for pass.
You're going to have a new quarterback this fall, whoever ends up winning the job, or maybe we'll see multiple guys during the season, who knows. But what can an experienced wide receiver group do to help out a newcomer at quarterback that hasn't seen a lot of game reps?
I mean, encouragement. If he makes a bad throw, tell him he's going to get the next one, because if he's down on himself, then you don't want to keep getting down on him more, and it's just like a snowball effect. If he's down, the whole team's going to be down. So he's got to stay up because he's the QB. He's really running the offense for us.
Start with you, Pierce, but what are some goals that you have, maybe an individual goal or some team goals? What are some things that you guys are trying to accomplish this fall?
One of my individual goals is probably on the defensive side of the ball is hopefully try and get into double-digit sacks, because last year I was able to get 7, and hopefully I can get double digits. And as a team, I just want to try and win, get a win percentage this season.
How about you, Hunter?
Individual goal is leading tackles for the team, and just getting a touchdown a game, or just getting some reps at receiver, because I didn't get much last year, but that's because I broke my foot.
What about catching more passes than Manny Montgomery?
That would be hard to do. I mean, he's our offensive guy, so.
All right, guys.
He's very good.
He is very good,
yes.
And you've got a very strong wide receiver core. We're going to have a new segment this year. We like to have some fun at the end of our player segment. So this year, brand new, is our Jefferson Trivia. So I'm going to ask you a multiple choice question. There's 3 of them, best 2 out of 3 wins. anytime you think you know the answer, it could be before even all the multiple choice options are given, just say your name. And again, if you get 2 out of 3 right, you get bragging rights as the Jefferson Trivia winner this week. So here's question number 1. What was the first year that Jefferson High School opened? Was it 1969, 1970, 1971, or 1972?
Pierce. We'll go 70.
70. He did the math right there, Pierce. Well done. 50 years of Jefferson football, 50 years of the school. There you go. So Pierce has the lead 1-0. Hunter, you got to sweep the last 2. How many team state titles between all sports do the Jaguars have in its history? Team state titles. Is it 27, 31, or 56? It is not 33. This is your chance for the win, Pierce.
What were my choices?
27, 41, or 56?
27.
It is not 27.
56.
I'll give you the next chance, Hunter. 41 or 56?
41.
It is 41,
Oh,
so we're tied 1-1.
Okay.
Here's our last question.
like
It's going to
that.
break the tie. How many principals has Jefferson had in its history? Principals. Is it 7, 8, 9, or 10?
Pierce. 8.
It is not 8. Hunter, this is your chance for the win.
7.
It is 7.
Hey.
Hunter Burgess, come from behind victory. Guys, I enjoyed that. Look forward to seeing you guys in the fall. Best of luck on Thursday against Chan.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, final segment of the show coming up with the head coach, Tim Carlson, right after this.
Okay, let's set the facts straight. Almost a quarter of car crashes involve cell phones. When you text and drive, you look away at least 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's the length of a football field. Time out. It's illegal in 39 states to text and drive, but you're in danger everywhere when you don't focus. So keep your eyes on the road and arrive alive. No text, no wrecks. So don't text and drive.
Back on Inside Jefferson Football, year number 6, our very first episode of the year. Final segment of the show with the head coach, Tim Carlson. And I know before we get into the defensive side of the ball in Chanhassen, I know you want to share some memories that you have with Bruno Waldner, the first Jefferson coach.
Yeah, you know, I loved Bruno as a coach, and later on, you know, he's very influential in my career and where I went. And Margie was great. She's another role model for my wife Kelly, as well as Judy Shea. But Bruno, when I was in high school, he'd pull us out of class Thursdays or something like that, and take us to the old Chowder Bowl, which I think it's like Subway there, and we'd be gone for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then he'd bring us back to school. He'd write me a note. Tim was at an awards banquet all afternoon, and I had to get in. I don't think we could do that nowadays, but yeah. Bruno he was one of a kind.
Was he as brutally honest all the time?
Oh,
as
yes.
I mean, he might have been a little salty in
I was
going
going to say he was pretty diplomatic there.
He didn't really like how his team played, obviously,
Yeah.
but was he that brutally honest all the time?
Oh yeah. You knew where Coach stood, and that's okay. You know, there was no guessing. You knew.
Well, that's great. Well, let's dive into the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, Pierce is going to play a big factor in what you want to do defensively, but talk about some of the other guys up front, maybe in that front 7 that are going to be big contributors for you guys.
Yeah, we'll go with Kashawn Cobalt is a sophomore nose guard. Been working hard, and he's done a great job. Harrison Chappell will be the other end, opposite one outside backer. Colby Dorscom will be our other outside backer. We have kind of 4 inside guys. We'll rotate between Seth Krakow, Brock Edwards, Ethan Rowland, and Nathan Keith are kind of the 4 guys that will get time there. And Manny, Matt Thompson, and Hillary McCory. Hillary's a great story. Just started playing football this year, and I wish he'd started earlier, but he picked it up and worked hard, and he's going to be a starting corner for us.
What grade is he in?
He'll be a senior.
Okay.
Yep, he'll be a senior, and again, I wish he would have started earlier, but hey, he's out, and he's got such a great attitude and a smile always on his face.
Well, let's briefly talk about Chanhassen, because this is a team that's traditionally near the top of the Metro West, and as we've talked about off air, you feel like that's going to be again where they're going to rank out this year as well.
Yeah, they're deep, they're tough, they're big again. New coach Colin Nelson, he'll do a great job with them. They play fast and physical on defense. They're impressive to watch on film. Even they scrimmaged Eden Prairie, watched that film, and yeah, they're very impressive. Offensively, they're going to run the ball, and we know that. They do more play action probably than they did last year. We noticed that a little bit, but offensively very similar to us. So we just have to match their intensity and their energy, and you know it's football. Now those early games, special teams becomes huge because how much has each team been able to work on special teams. So we've kind of emphasized that this week, and who takes care of the ball.
When you're prepping for a game one, do you kind of rely off of what they've been doing in the last
Offensively, they look pretty much quarterback for them. They're going to come with a new quarterback. You know, they lost Miller, who was outstanding quarterback for 2 years for them. So it's a little different, but you know, it's run the ball, and we got to stop it.
All right, Coach, good luck on the season. 48 hours from now, you'll be already underway. So we look forward to seeing you throughout the season on Inside Jefferson Football.
Thanks, Josh.
All right, that'll do it for episode 1 of Inside Jefferson Football. We'll be back next week, each and every Tuesday, whether it's on Facebook Live or our scheduled 8 p.m. start time right here on BEC-TV. For our entire crew, this is Josh Powers saying good night from our studio.